I'm back. I already know what it is. Big JD in the house. Back to break some hearts, hurt some feelings, send you back to your safe space if you're a soft, effeminate, soy boy, Westie sissy, sassy savvy, a ratchet weenie, or any of these other weirdos. I'm back. I told you I'd be back sooner or later, at some point in time. A lot of people were trying to conjure me into existence a lot sooner. Thought they were getting in my head. I heard other weirdos out there saying that some people had ended my career, had ruined my career, ended my career. I think it was that jackwagon up there in New York. What's his name? I didn't know she was 16, it's me. What's his name? Yeah, that guy. I don't even know how he's on the internet. You already know he's probably a weirdo, right? But we're going to talk about one of these boob tubers that has just punched out his ticket in life. He's gone now. At a very young age. He just couldn't let that pride get away. He just couldn't stand the fact he was living in that denial, that sense of guilt and frustration that a lot of these S&Y motherfuckers get when they debrief and they run off the yard in fear for their safety because they ran up fucking debt. The old lady had done sent him a Dear John letter, and that's it, right? That's the end of it. You done ran up all this heroin and whatever else it is that you do in debt. You can't pay the bill anymore because old baby just, took off with Sancho, or probably Nacho. Since you got the Dear John letter, Sancho really ain't interested in taking her. He's just taking her for a test drive. But old Nacho, yeah, he's taking her. So when that happens, they're running off the yard in fear for their safety. And old Debriefing Studios, he was nothing different from many of the other ones. But now let me be a little fair with that. There are a lot of cats that get off for whatever reason they got. Maybe the reasons are genuine. They really want to change their life to go a different direction. The proof is always in the pudding with a lot of them. Can't take nothing away from some of them. I mean, you can't say that they're all cowards over there, because there's a lot of stone cold killers that ended up getting taken out. I mean, you got some cats that refuse to get off the yard, but they got whacked so many times for the safety and security of the institution and for that individual. They had to take them out and put them in S&Y, and a lot of times it was against their will, but after a while, the reality set in and they were there. But I mean, everybody knows the difference between a lot of them. But Savage, from what I understand, he didn't really last long in the main line for whatever personal reasons he had. But here he is. He gets on YouTube. He starts out in whatever fashion he starts out. He had everybody fooled. I mean, even I thought that he was from Pacoima, that he wasn't an S&Y or anything like that. I wasn't really looking at his tattoos. I don't really look at a man's body that closely and everything like a lot of these people that get on these channels and watch us and examine everything. Look at everything in the background. Look at all the tattoos and all this bullshit. Look at our eye movements. Everything, man. Some of these people would make good detectives. You'd make Quantico proud. Some of yous. But anyways. So there's Savage. And I was fooled, like I said. And then I tried to reach out to him. As a lot of people know, I tried to reach out to him. Not gonna lie, man. Tried to reach out to him, then found out he went S&Y, and I even hit him up. I said, you ain't one of them 2-5ers of them PC gangs, are you? And he's like, nah, man, I ain't into all that shit, man. I'm a family man. I'm all about positivity. Okay. This was around the time when I had a non-profit organization. I was like pushing my books out there, whatnot, trying to help people get out of prison and stay out of prison. But of course, because of the color of my skin and the dominance of Black Lives Matter and other people that are in that criminal justice reform or criminals that are profiting off of justice reform, for that matter, rubbing shoulders with the celebrity elite power structure and all the fist fucking weirdos and the rest of them, right? Yeah, I couldn't really get my foot in the door in any of that shit, so I went rogue. I went out and decided to create this Prison Break Raw and just become an antagonist, just talk a bunch of shit, rant and rave, complain. I mean, I'm 48 years old, I've been in and out of the system, been around some of the worst and most rotten people that you can imagine over the years, going all through the California Department of Corruptions and Rehumiliation, all the way up into BOP, bop your ass with a whole lot of ridiculous time that doesn't even fit the crime. BOP system, Bureau of Prisons, federal system. I say GP, active mainline, all the way through and through. From the very beginning all the way to the end. Got out, went a different direction, changed my life, and here I am, right? Got off of federal paper, put a roof over my own head, had a job, had a career. All that shit, man. A lot of setbacks and a lot of unfortunate events that occurred. This pandemic, this biological weapon to get rid of Trump, this is now completely out of control. And even these fist fucking dribble racing weirdos that love to sniff your children, they can't even stop it now. It's out of control. So they come up with these phony baloney vaccines and whatnot. I won't take them. They know I won't take them. So I couldn't really get back into the workforce, and here I sit, right? But anyways, we're not going to talk about my personal problems. We are here to talk about the death of Debriefing Studios, because so many of you wanted me to speak on this. And I'm here to speak on it. You know, me and him, like I said, we had a history. A little bit. We had a feud going on. I had smacked him so good. Like, he came out with some shit. All I did was answer the question like I told you I do with my subscribers. With my PBR car or whatnot. You're going to ask me, like, you're going to give me questions that are topics for videos in the future. Because I can't think up all this shit myself, man. I got to rely on a lot of yous to basically get me through it. Working all those hours and everything like that. And like I said, I'm not a spring chicken, you know what I mean? So, here it is, man. I dropped a video about S&Y prison gangs. PC gangs, in other words. I still can't state it with a fucking straight face, man. You can send me up to the Himalayas. I'll be up there trying to find internal peace, nirvana, in an ashram somewhere. And if somebody was to still say PC, S&Y, protective custody gangs, I'd still laugh. Couldn't stay humble with that one. You know? And that's what he was. And he was like, you know, kind of like sticking and moving, you know, moving under the radar with that shit, low key, you know, promoting that kind of bullshit, preaching to the choir, because there's so many PC-minded people out there these days. I mean, look at Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? He's the godfather of them. He's more popular than ever. He's running around unchecked. Nobody's doing nothing to him. Nobody's trying to bring it to him. Nobody's busting no hot ones in him, murking him, nothing like that. It works a little bit different over here on the West Coast. Fools move differently. Prison politics are very organized on an active GP yard. As you already know, you've seen it before. You've seen a lot of the channels. You got a lot of the dudes that are now have gone out of that, have either dropped out of their organization or have gone a different way. And they're speaking a lot about the history and a lot about what they know. And I can't really speak on any of that because a lot of them cats that are doing that are from the north of the state. And that's like really not even my business to be speaking on or anything like that. But you get the drift, right? You got a couple of them down in the south. Like Mundo over there, Perplex Media, whatnot, whatever it's called. I don't know what the hell it's called, Perplex or some shit. Now you got old Boxer, he's out finally. He's going to be bobbing and weaving and ducking and dodging and looking around. Because he can't really show his face, man. He's like worth some major points. But yeah, there's people that speak on a lot of the history and everything like that, and they give you an accurate take on it. You know, some might throw a perfect 10 on it. Who knows? I mean, I don't really watch a lot of it, listen to a lot of it. I already know a lot of it that I've heard over the years. You won't be getting that from me, sorry to say, because I don't expose game. I don't talk about things that I ain't supposed to be talking about. That's just what it is. I subscribed to that code. I fucking went all in on that code way back when I was just a youngster. And I keep it real all the way to this day. I'm not here to, like, you know, to expose anybody else's shit or to basically rain on anybody's parade or pee in anybody's cornflakes. I'm just here to run my content, talk a bunch of shit, make people mad, put you in therapy if you need to be in therapy, but you need to think about it. You need to think about what I'm telling you. Think about what I'm saying. Why is it getting under your skin? And that's exactly what happened with the beef with me and Savage Studios. I dropped that content about PC gangs. I basically spoke on how I feel. And that's still how I feel. If you're in SNY or you're in PC or anything like that, and you're starting a gang of PC, you ain't got no respect coming from me. I mean, if you would have just stayed over there and got out and went out and raised your family and did all that jazz, well then great. But you're supposed to be going over there to get away from all the bullshit. But you want to go over there and recreate it. Start over. It's like push the reset button, right? Well, it don't work that way. Because you didn't debrief, you fucking ratted. You told a bunch of stuff, you went on there and you basically exposed all kinds of game and did all that. And that's how I see it. So Savage decided he was going to respond to that and call me out of my name. Call me all kind of bitches and punks and nigga this and nigga that and all this shit that he talks. Well, what he's saying, using that N-word like everybody else does. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there because so many of you seems to think that it's okay for other people to use it and stuff like that. Well, I'm using it in the same term of endearment kind of way. I don't mind. It is what it is. But when you got somebody directing that shit towards me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to describe it to you in detail just to show you, to give it a little more of a dramatic effect so that you understand how it is. When it's coming directed at me like that, I'm sitting here thinking like, well, okay, I ain't on that kind of time, so why are you calling me the N-word? Right? Have you forgotten what I look like? But all kinds of other names, bitches and punks and all this shit like that, you just don't do. A G just don't do that. Like a G just don't get on there and talk all that kind of shit. Calling people out to fights and fades and wanting the camera to be on it the whole time. But I've had a bunch of these buffoons and boob tubers, challenge me to fights over the time. And I can pretty much tell you that every single one of them is either an S&Y, dropout, rat, or some kind of a seed-sniffing weirdo or whatnot. Or a gang stalker troll, whatever it is. They would rather see everybody else go and get themselves in trouble and cause all kinds of drama while they sit back in the cut because they're cowards like that. But Savage, called me out to a fight anywhere, anytime. So I waited a couple of weeks to respond. And I waited and I waited. And a lot of people thought that I was done. A lot of people thought that my career was ended and all that other bullshit. Wishful thinking, clowns. It didn't go down that way, did it? Because I came out with a fucking two-piece, man. Boom! And just dropped his ass. He was apologizing the next day. Oh, I'm sorry if I offended anybody and this and this that. Well, it don't. It's too late for that, pal. Nobody's going to accept that apology. You already done spoken. You said what you said. You got this little 2-5 weird shit, whatever it is. All kinds of weird motherfucking mixed bag of misfits. With sex crimes and ratting and testifying and everything else and making the rank and file of it. No respect. Not from me. But that's what happened with that, man. He was never the same after that. And any of you that know that have been following me can attest to that shit. He was never the same. He went on a downward spiral. He was like a freaking, like a fighter pilot in World War I after the Red Baron just fucking mauled it down. He was going down in flames and he had no parachute. Next thing you know, he's whipping his dick around at a young girl at a Walmart, sniffing around, stalking and lewd acting, and gets busted. He gets out. He decides he's going to change the direction of his content once again, right? He's going to be the family man. Old dumbass Brittany takes him back as usual. All that happened, right? Y'all remember that shit. Then we have the Huntington Beach Pier, right? Just a regular family of people, Leslie and her brothers and sisters and all that. Is Alpha strolling the pier. And here comes old seat-sniffing, debriefing studios with his size super sexy pants. Picking a fight with everybody on the tier. Actually gets in a fight, throws a bunch of punches because he's a badass and he's got hands, right? He's got hands. His hands are about as bad as that idiot up there in Minnesota, that snitching stories. You ever seen that guy's fucking heavy bag videos? Oh wee, talk about cringe. It's gotta be a joke, man. I think Glass Joe can actually fucking hit a bag better than that fool. But there it is, right? throwing the uppercuts, missing every single punch he was throwing. Way bigger than this kid too, man. And the people are like, well, he was throwing them all over like a wreck. Okay, yeah. Because the kid was like 5'4", and what? Savage is like, what? 6'3" or 6'2" or some shit? 200 some odd pounds? Yeah, okay. Missed every punch, and then the cops were called, and guess what? They all went to jail. Savage walked. In the middle of that shit, karma would get him. He lost his phone, and he lost control of his 100-something thousand subscriber channel that he used to have. So it was all for nothing. That whole thing was for nothing. And then it was just all bad from then on out. Then he shaves his head, and he starts getting all these tattoos all over his face. He gets even weirder and more bizarre. Starts an OnlyFans where he's got a collar around his neck. And he's barking like a dog, and this dude just went completely ass backwards, and it's something that you would expect. So then he picks a fight with Bozo and Tony the Wizard and all that, and I spoke on that because I like Bozo. I give him a shout out every now and again, message him, talk to him on IG every now and again. Same thing with Tony the Wizard. You guys would be surprised at who I know. But you shouldn't really, because the optics should never like control you in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, he starts fucking with them, so I dropped some content about that. What does he do? He goes right back and he starts going into all kinds of stupid ass, bullshit ass stories. But see, I already knew what kind of time he was on because he had gotten at me on Instagram, and I didn't even know it was him right at first. But he was talking all kinds of shit, talking about like, yeah, he's got all his little sassy savvies out there in numbers, trolling me and my family. They may show up at the door one day and like do some harm to my family. And then he put himself in an alliance with the Wessie sissies and that lame ass snitching stories. You know, that banana colored motherfucker that lives up there in Minnesota, when I was talking about the heavy bag, who couldn't hit a fucking heavy bag of it. He was fighting his way out of a freaking sinking ship. Yeah, that coward. The guy that held his mom hostage and shot up his own house. That weirdo. The one that got on there and told everybody that he's a snitch. But he gave you this bullshit story about him on the cops. Nah. The real deal is that man snitched on the people that robbed him and shot him. But I digress. We're talking about Savage here. So we're not going to get into that one right there. But that motherfucker's been taking shots at me. That fool's been sucking my dick for 3 years now. I can't get his fucking lips. I can't pry his lips loose from my cock. It's sad, but it is, but it's true. And that guy's gayer than a $3 bill. He just don't want to like let you know that. But that dude is like always talking about gay shit. You already know he's gay as fuck. But yeah, him and Savage, an alliance together. Going out and doing some of the most bizarre trolling that you could possibly imagine. I mean, we're talking some sick, twisted type of stuff, man. Talking weird shit to kids and everything else. Cowards like a motherfucker, because none of these people will ever show up, never knocked at the door. They never came over to my house. Nobody ever came here. Nobody ever robbed me. Savage never came. None of them ever did a goddamn thing. I chose to go off of YouTube for other reasons. I had a lot going on. Nothing to do with YouTube. Because like I said, once the camera stops, I don't even think about this shit anymore unless somebody is talking to me about it when they call me. Or I call them. But that's it. So if anybody wants to talk about who ruined whose career or who knocked who off what square, I done to hit a 2-punch knockout and knock Savage right up off his square. He ain't ever been the same since. Don't take my word for it. Go back in time and look at it yourself. But I don't get no credit for that because none of these clowns ever want to give me credit. Because they can't stand the fact that I see through all the bullshit and I call them for what they are. And I'm not telling them nothing that ain't the truth. It ain't my own perception. It's from just basically looking at what they're doing, how they do their thing, what they talk about, and what kind of time they're on. The rest just falls into place and you can just fill in the blanks. And it's just like that. If more people would use this kind of information to better themselves, I would feel a sense of accomplishment. I would be humbled by that. But they don't. They don't. Their little vaginas get all gushing, and they just can't handle it. And they come at me in force and whatnot, do all that. And it's sad, really, because I could keep on roasting them and beating on them and humiliating them till the cows come home. But I don't. I really don't. Like, I'll talk about one of these fools, and unless something new pops up, something new, some big, like, kind of a popular hot topic, I'll just leave them alone, man. I got no reason to dwell on them, make multiple videos about them, and throw their name out there time and time again. I ain't got to do all that. But like I said, Savage, he just, man, I don't know what's up with that cat. I don't know what happened to him and why he allowed this fame to get to his head. He thought he was like Jay-Z or some shit. Steadily smacking Brittany around and then coming back. I mean, that dumb broad. I mean, she had a good dude. A good one, man. A working guy, all that stuff. She just straight like dipped on him. Just out of nowhere. And was shaking her ass in Savage's face. And people want to feel sorry for her. I ain't gonna fucking... Nope, we're not doing it here either. That dumb broad deserves every painful moment that she's gotten. That's your karma. That's what you do. You get what you deserve. Everybody gets what they deserve. Everybody gets what they got coming. I ain't no different than neither is anybody else on here. So, when all this was going on and he started to, like, I don't know, I read some articles and I don't know who wrote that dribble. People on there talking about he was a positive channel and he got out there, he did 10 years and all he wanted to do was help people and he had relationship advice. His channel was based on relationship advice. Or that's what they say. If that man's giving relationship advice, I mean, the local homeless dude that's down there in the corner should be giving you financial advice. And you should take it wholeheartedly. Or maybe I should give you some advice on being a positive life coach so you can level up, right? Which reminds me, how many of yous feel like an idiot now, knowing that you supported that pinhead over there in San Diego? S&Y Watson. Smacking his wife around, big tough guy, right? Putting a knife through her throat. Straight fucking weenie, man. That's another one. Topic for another time. Same thing with Ryan Phony Baloney. Leone. People told me that he passed away. Okay. He was playing everybody from the gate, talking about how he's the symbol of sobriety and all that. Higher than giraffe pussy on Jessica Kent's show. The bitch done left me on red, but then puts him on her show. Like I said, man, I'm digging to her a little later too, as a matter of fact. I'm coming back with a vengeance, people. I'm just coming full force. I ain't holding no punches back. I got both straps loaded, cocked and loaded, and bam! I'm coming at you. I'm gonna be all up in you with a jalapeno. I'm gonna be slapping you with that wet noodle of reality. They're gonna be coming at me hard in the paint. But I'm ready for it, man. Like I said, a lot of the shit that I've been through over the last 14, 15 months, which had absolutely zero to do with YouTube, by the way. I wish I could have had a camera hooked up to me. You could have seen all this crap. What a rough ride that was. But you know what? Here I am right now. I'm back. And I'm going to be bringing you this content. And it's going to be raw and it's going to be uncut. And like I've said before, I am not a life coach. I'm not here to really give positive advice. I'm just a 48-year-old ex-con that's going through the trials and tribulations of life, who rants and raves, mostly ranting, mostly complaining, talking shit, pessimistic. I'm an INTP personality type, people. Go look it up. We'll talk a little bit about that in future episodes as well. Learning my personality type has actually liberated me and made me feel a whole lot more comfortable and confident in understanding myself. But I've gone through a great deal of learning experience going through the 40 days and 40 nights of the desert to come back to this moment that I'm at now. I'm caught up on everything that was going on. And like I said, what better way to come back than on this one right here with Savage Studios, who punched his ticket to life at the Smoking Gun Tattoo Parlor. And it doesn't get any more ironic than that, right? The Smoking Gun Tattoo Parlor. So, who's going to be the next one that might end up getting taken out? How many of these other people are on here that are speaking on matters and shit that they shouldn't be speaking on? But some of yous out there that are out of state and speaking on California business like that, big hint, right? Somebody that some of yous may know. You should really learn to keep your fucking mouth shut. Because you never know. You might be having some dude up in the rear view mirror of your car putting you in their 5-year plan. You're speaking on these people and in different organizations and whatnot, or different peoples or different people you don't know nothing about outside of what you studied on Google or YouTube or some video game, San Andreas or some shit, or Grand Theft Auto. This ain't a game, man. A lot of people made this shit into a joke with busting cheeks and all the rest of the ass clownery and everything that's going on from various boob tubers and buffoon tubers and whatnot. Jackwagons coming out with fucking masks on, their voices changed and all that. All this weirdness, man. And this shit ain't no fucking joke. These cats, these active fools, when a motherfucker's active and he's banging that, he's repping that, and he's trying to level up for them big homies, somebody's gonna bring it to you. If somebody getting tired of listening to you or tired of seeing you, they're gonna bring it to you. This ain't a fucking game, man. My best advice to any of yous out there that are treading carefully and walking that thin line, I would recommend or I advise you to just keep your mouth shut. Do something else. Teach somebody finger painting or how to like spin some string or something like that. But don't talk about any of these other people, these organizations or whatnot. Because like I said, you never know when you're going to look up and see that straight fucking assassin right there in front of you. And by that time, it's too late and there's no talking your way out of it. And there's no paying your way out of it. It's done data. And then we're going to be talking about you on here. You already know what it is. You heard it right here. Risen Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no hold barred, not sugarcoating, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality. Stay about the casket, and we out.